Hello and welcome to Modular House Challenge and also a collaboration event with our long-lasting Creative Tuesdays. As today is Tuesday and we are ready to bring you a new lecture, this time on manufacturing of modular buildings. We will start with a short introduction on the competition itself and also what awaits you. So right now you should be able to see my screen. And this is the fourth episode already, and you might feel like you have missed some, but it's fine. We will show you the links where you can see the previous ones. The registration is currently closed, but the event is open to come and see the presentations. What are the events that were before this? We had the Innovation in Modular Housing meetup, where we talked about what types of buildings we can create in nature and also outdoors, and how they differ and how we measure innovation capacity in each of them. Then we had a really great excursion where we met the modular housing Pavasars and looked at some of the examples, and that's also where we invited Inguss to lecture here. After that, Rudis showed us some examples with prototyping and also building the library, how to work with wood. And last week, we met some of you on excursion to Latvijas Finieris factory in Valsts. So right now we are here in a lecture on modular building, so how to make things more efficient for production. However, tomorrow there is one last warm-up event from our sixth event session, which is large-scale wood prototyping workshop. So currently, there is already testing the tools and trying to assemble a very useful appliance, an acoustic chamber, which would have really been useful right now here in our studio as we are battling some echoes. What's next? So the main task of this challenge is to create a new modular building concept, not a large one, because the budget is quite limited, 20,000 euros. And there is a lot of stuff that is asked from you, but about that we will go further. The whole timeline of the project right now, we are near the fourth stage, which is this creativity hackathon. There will be very short pitches for each team. And will happen in Yelgo. So most of you already have received the email, but if you have any questions, definitely write us. The stage 2, which will be after this, starts around autumn. And there we'll be working with mentors to develop your prototype. And on spring on 2024, so we will announce specific dates later, we are already going for the functional prototypes. What are the evaluation criteria? So it's creativity and innovation. That's always important, especially in this first stage on Friday. We really want to see new, fresh ideas, also taking some risks. The second one is feasibility and cost optimization. So your building has to be realizable in these 20,000 euros. Of course, it does take some time to what type of picture. We know that some people are participating individually. For first stage, it's okay, but going further, we would really press. So in each team, there is at least one engineer, one architect, maybe a designer. So you cover more specialties. The third, fourth, and sixth, fourth, fifth, and sixth criteria is usability. So can your house adapt to different use case scenarios, like a family, a single person? Can you combine them together? Sustainability. So do you use sustainable approaches to create it? And last but not least, how your presentation looks. So you can come with an existing idea, pitch it well. You can come with a sketch and create it there. It's more about your idea. It's not about the readiness of it. It can also be a mock-up. You can fold it from paper, but the idea is how you communicate it. And does the jury understand what you want to create? And in 3 minutes, it's quite hard to do it. So it's worth it trying it a few times. That's why in the schedule, you have this very important part in these 4 hours where you can go and meet with the mentors. So there will be a mentor room. There are roughly 10 mentors that will be present. And you can meet with them and already show your idea, ask some questions, etc. So we'll have a long list where you can write down your name and then present and ask some questions. That's about the competition, about today's event. So these happen every Tuesday almost. We ask you to be creative and open-minded. This is our 97th meetup, so we are closing in on 100. Each Tuesday we have a new meetup and a new presenter. We really try to have a conversation, so that will be after the presentations, ask some questions. And we also look at each lecture as a module. So in modular houses and also a module as a lecture, so each of them can stand on their own, or you can combine several modules and learn something more. We also have 3D Tuesdays, which might be worthwhile if you are trying to build something, and we try to grow together and also learn from our participants. Here are some lectures we have done before. So also we have, for example, parametric modeling, AI involved workshops. But for this challenge, if you have some time and you want to learn more about how to create good ideas, which will be this competition, I would really recommend looking at Elina Mikkelson's lecture on idea fitness, how to improve and create new ideas. And maybe my lecture on sketching, because that's also quite important if you want to quickly draw something. And this is where all the videos live, so you can go there and watch them. For tomorrow, those who already know about the practical modeling workshop, we will try to do this large pile of materials, which we have painted, and create them in a functional prototype. It will be quite challenging, but let's hope we can. So it starts around, if I remember correctly, 6 o'clock. And then it continues. The event should look like this. And special thanks to Tikorella and Acoustic Technologies for providing some materials for the workshop. And with that being said, with large applause in the studio, let's welcome Inguss, our guest tonight. And I will stop sharing my screen so he can start sharing his screen and tell something about modular houses.
Yeah, hello for everyone. My name is Inguss. I'm from the group of Pavasars, and this year we came out with a new branding, visual materials, and totally finalize our group idea and how to show us visually in all the markets, and that's how the looks. Old company name is the Pavasars, but for the more customers it will be visible for modular buildings with the 3 letters PMH, Pavasars Modular Houses, because that's what we done, because no one understands what it means Pavasars in English or Swedish and Norwegian or German names, but PMH doesn't mean anything, but for us it means a lot. It's the history, more than 30 years of the company, and a lot of energy and time spent there. But about the company, so the first name is Pavasars, which is a translation as a weather, as a spring. It's something fresh and nice. And the company name came by my father, as used to is coming in England from the family name. And this is not chosen by me. Maybe I would like to choose for new Martin style another name. But this is how it is, and it's the word name is quite known already in Latvia between suppliers and people locally, and that's we decide for main company from old company to keep it. Still, we have more companies. It's 5 company group, and I will introduce you 3 products from the company. So it's a presentation about company I told you. So next one is our company. So once more than we are producing the houses, elements. We are producing still. We have a sawmill. We are cutting logs, producing the boards. Different type of measures, gluing the boards to get special measures, standard measures. And they get best quality on a wood, it's special humidity and precise measures. As you know, all the building starts from basement, and walls is starting from the wood, and it's most important to get quality wood on right humidity and right measure, which is not so easy to get in market from wood suppliers or sawmills where the humidity is more than 80, and the tolerance for the wood is 0.5 to 2 millimeters. And that's where we are not happy with that, and that's why we are doing our own sawmill. So another product is the wood window systems. It's another company where we invest a lot of money in last years to get the brilliant product. It's with a huge warranty and nice designs, and it's based on technologies. No more carpenters as regular we used in past. It's more about machinery, about more about softwares. And then third product is the furniture. All the finishings is about furniture and finishing of the walls and ceilings. And this you have to produce furniture and use huge carpentry as a standard carpentry. And this is one of the game where you feel the comfort of the house. The one of the places where you spend your time is the kitchen, of course, and it's how the kitchen works, and you never cooperate with others. You cooperate with yourself, with your own companies. You have quick decisions and the best decisions always. And after service is the quickest what you can dream about. You don't have angry customers in any. So our company have a products, so standard catalog, and this is modular houses, which is a topic of today, but it's many products moves in, and that's how I introduce the rest of companies. And we have some sentence we are calling, I have two sentences for my company. It's like from nature to nature. We take from nature a wood and we are creating houses for nature. And another is more about my family name. It's like let the spring in your house, and then you see the fresh and dream, and your dreams come true. So yeah, Pavasars window factory. This is PWF. This is my child. If the sawmill was created by my father, then I was create my own window systems, and I feel comfortable. I move in, and this is the product which from the houses I love more of all of it. And here is our team, our values is the people who believes in company, and we believe we try to return as much as possible Latvians back to home, to our country, and produce modular houses locally and export to the whole world. We have many talks about how to deliver the houses to Australia, Japan, America. There is no limits. There is just limit on measure and in limit in mind. If you open the mind, you can do whatever you want. And that's the dream, to produce locally and send all around. So our goals, here you can see some previous projects. The one which I was most proud is the house on the metal steel legs. I can't remember exactly. I think this is 2013 when I made first piece of the house, and this was try to do it. And then in 2015, I think I was produced second one, and that house get nomination in Sweden like the best built house in Sweden. Energy effective, and the house was lifted up 20 meters from the road top of the mountain, and this was a miracle building. Like everyone looks like a miracle what the people can do with the simple elements. This was not modular but element house, but that's where we started. The next one is already where I'm still working is the ski resorts or ski resort villages, with many same types of three types of houses, and those are built more than 200 houses, and still we developing the houses, but with new thinking. It's with the modular thinking. We started with those villages with the elements, then we combined them with the modular and elements, and now we're reproducing drawings. Technologies fully built in modular systems with amazing design. And this is already ready samples how it's possible. And the group who was already in factory saw some samples how it's done. But next year will come more amazing pictures, so that fully models will be created and just short assembly time will be spent on site.
Meanwhile, I'm already writing down questions. If you have some questions, you can send in chat too. And when the presentation is done, we will go through them in order.
Yeah, as I told you, from nature to nature, we respect to use
You
all.
need to share the screen again because right now it's not sure. Although it's really nice to see you on the large screen. Meanwhile, there's also a mural board we will share in the chat. Basically, there you can see all the lectures that have happened and also photos from the excursions. It looks something like this. So people who are right here in the studio can't see it, but for you who are online in Zoom and Facebook, you can see. It's basically a list of lectures. There's also videos, and also this lecture video will be posted there. We will post the link, And also it shows the full timeline of the competition, evaluation criteria, jury members, mentors, full schedule, basically all the information you can see, and you are able to add questions and comments if you have some specific issue, and then you can chat there too. So it's like trying to put all the competition on one very large page. So if you ever skip any activity, you can come back, and we do the most amount by sharing everything. So there are the slides. You can see also pictures. For example, this is pictures from Pavasars Modular Housing excursion. And there's also an excursion to Shuna, another modular housing place, a new development. So these can be explored at any time. That was a little commercial break for the modular house hackathon, and I hope that the technical people are sorting out the presentation sharing. If not, I can also share from my computer. If you understand me, the presentation, I can put it here, and then we can just say next slide, and I will click on the next slide. Okay, my monologue has ended, and we
Yes.
managed to get to the presentation.
So in the factory, as I told you, from nature to nature, and all the materials we try to recircle. All the even cut woods, we not just put in sawdust or wooden sheets. We try to reglue and return again in add value. And the company based on it's always starts. If it's not our standard products, then we start with consulting. There's a lot of topics. Design is the measure, and we always try to take a customers and move them on our own way and our own standards, which is quite limited for our vision. But then we understand customers are surprised how design could be combined, and you never recognize the buildings are built in modular way. It's hidden, and this is what people are afraid. It looks like boxes. It looks like metal boxes, and that's not true. If you work right with design and architects and with materials, and be plan to work on site, you can get amazing design. That's why the second place is design, and there needs to understand design always match with the price. As cheaper design, as cheaper price for end result. And as I saw your budget for 20,000, then I started how big house you can get. Of course, it's possible with 20 square meters. But for nice design, it could be 12, 15 maybe, but this already I understand from square meter price.
Large tank.
Yeah, that's the most expensive actually in design. And is the kitchens and the bathrooms. The rest building is not so. You can choose whatever expensive materials you want, but those two parts is the most expensive: kitchens and bedrooms or bathrooms. That's it. Then it's production we provide, and production is just our famous part, and all the drawings technologies are ready. This where we enjoy, and that's why we are jumping in two first parts. If the customers or architects arrives in factory already with ready design and building, quite much time you need to spend to redesign and rebuild technical drawings. That's why we suggest always start with the producer and ask for the standards before you design something. That's why you need consultants before all the processes for building starts. After the manufacturing is the delivery, there's many ways to deliver. In my experience, we've been using ferries. Even we delivered our modular buildings with the ferries and crane to the islands, and then we've been trying to figure out the helicopters, and of course with the trucks, trailers. There's many types of trailers, low bed trailers, but always this is limited measures. So very unique to what we have spoken about. And later, if you have questions, I can call you some limited measures what we can produce because of transport. Of course, we provide assembly. This is quite necessary to not get later claims on wrong produced buildings. This is one of the rules which we always put in our agreements. Or we send our specialists who provide or give you the rules of the process, or we send full team. And of course, warranty and after service. It's the warranty time. If you think in Latvia, it's made by rule or government 2 years, then there is countries where the warranty should be 12 years. And even for the main construction, 15 or lifetime warranty. It's always about the law of each country where you deliver it, and it's quite important. That's why we're explaining customer so simple pictures, but under each picture you find a lot of rules and a lot of explanation why we should do this. So this is the years. So the first step, as I always tell the young people when they start the business, is the most important, is the first year where you collect experience, collect the money and invest your time. Later with the years, you will get a family and then you lose the time, you lose energy. And that's the question for each of you, where you spend your young years for relaxing or for investing for your future. Of course, it's a bit fun to be in disco or whatever, but maybe you lose your seriously future. This is the challenge, is the start of business or start of working years, most important. And then later you just use your experience or use your start collecting money and develop your process. Or afterwards you go for others and you copy others. And if you know from the life, the copy is never better than the original. And then please be original and be first ones. So
Very good advice.
So here is next presentation is a catalog of my developed windows. I'm quite proud about this because I was the first who brings in Latvia first wood aluminium windows in our production. Till me, there was profiles, which was renovation profiles, and actually the first wood aluminium windows we produced for Riga Technical University, and this quite nice building, and I'm quite happy that I succeeded with that. And that was my one of the biggest challenge. I can't remember 2013, I think. Now it's regular standard for those windows, and it's 80% of production capacity. But yeah, that's how it's our new representative materials looks for windows. And there is some buildings where is our windows used. Of course, it's a modular houses, which we are proud of. It's the holiday houses or summer cottages or huses or hutes. It doesn't matter which language you call it. We use them for mountains, for boat houses, and many ways, for rentals, for golf clubs. Actually, when we are doing extensions for hotels, it's the COVID, this COVID time took a direction of the new businesses, and always you find a place for modular buildings. But one of the things what I understand, as I told you before already, the modular buildings actually is the future. And as I heard, with the new rules, people are raising a lot, and the living space we lose in Latvia, we are less, but in other countries, one human working hours could be spent just for batteries with maximum capacity and value for it to get faster out, to give an option for people to get a bed and house. And that's quite challenging for future. Just open Google and put the number how fast people coming in this world. It's crazy. So this is my standard products. We're calling Luis 13. Now we're updating for new projects and updating with the ideas and designs. And we get with each year we get better and better products, which we are proud of it. And yeah, here is more styles, more products, and it's modular swimming pool houses, especially on that for swimming pool with the floors, with the heatings, with the sauna, showers. It's not for living. It's just extension where you enjoy and have a quick kitchen and parties. All this gives you a rules, and then you design the house pergolas and terraces. It's quite fun actually. Low second floor, you don't use full space. You just use 1.2, 1.4 meters to just land down, and space quite usable. And you're amazed how you save money and get an extra space. It's quite nice buildings actually. Yeah, here is bigger, 50 square meters and different types. And then we
Also
have, yeah, this is next step for my factory when I understand this holiday houses. So villas we can do in many store buildings. It's nothing new in the market. It's already exists a factory. But I took a challenge to design new building, which not looks as a modular building, but it is a modular building. And I was calculating the plans, and now you see outgoing extensions for balconies and special facade finishing. This building production in a factory takes 2 months production and around 25 days to set up in a building site. And it's 18, I think it was 18 flat house with a 2-store flats and quite amazing swimming pools or sauna subs, in a 4th floor, and quite nice. There is no limit, as I told you, just needs to create some ideas in design, and then we need to look on technology, how to make dreams come true in a real modular system. It's a time, but everything is possible. And this building already is designed but not built. It's ready for the project was planned in Sweden in Södertälje. We are waiting when the customer will send the land, and 3 these buildings will come up. Hope after Swedish crisis on the buildings, it will be realized in the next 2 years. So we can finish. If you dream it, we can make it. And this about my company. And actually, in short words, that's it. And I would like to receive your question, and you are welcome.
Yeah, I have written down a lot. I will start with a few, and meanwhile, definitely, if you have them, let us know, and you can ask them. The first one is just a quick overview of the thesis. So one is that design matters, the original, right? And start with producers. So when you want to design a modular house, already think about the person who will be your company or factory who will be putting it out. The question there is how frequently do you design new modules, or you have like a few catalog of buildings? But when do you either you see a market opportunity where there is an unmet price point, or you just get tired, or you see that people are asking for some specific elements? Because it's a large step to create a new product, and what are the inputs you take there?
The first was we were studying a market. The first modular buildings actually I was produced in a cheap version. It was 12 buildings, which was for rent for Syrian people, which runs from this issue in the country and try to rent out something. And this needs to be cheap as possible. This was first one, but then when we decided to go on market, we took a lot of time to check it out, what is in the market, and then we look at what is great and what is wrong in this building, how I would like to live. Actually, nothing is better if you look on a building and try to understand how you will live in this building. What is your dreams? And if you do it for your own, you are doing the best. You never try to save anything. And I'm taking the market part, which is not low market on the price. I'm taking the highest price and most equipped. Because my understanding that people never save money on hobbies, like it is a boat house. And there is a question how to produce, how to make it better. But I'm limiting measures, and this is the only limit what I have. Of course, always customers want to see a price, but in a price you can choose cheaper materials, but not functionality. And most important is functionality.
I really like the idea you said about hobby or boat. So I understand that's a large market. Not all people buy it for just living. A lot of people just buy it as a getaway house, rest sauna. It's sauna probably less. We talked about it a bit more like instead of buying a sailing boat, that's a decision. You're kind of competing not only with buildings but with the luxury cars, sailing boats, or a house, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for the living, there is a limit of what your incomes and what amount of banks will give you, and that's the question. You are starting the life, there is support, or how rich your parents. It's many questions. The boat house is the second house, and those are by people. It's the second. It's the decision. The people who earn the money and they need luxury and they need something fancy, what others don't have, or really usable for to be out, to use a terrace, to use house fully. Same with the skiing. It's nothing about the living. It's nothing about economy. It's about how to reduce, as I told you before, it's about how to use for maximum this house.
About floating houses, have you had an idea about building a floating house at some point?
Well, today there was discussions, and I was already designing a house for Holland, because if you know that there is a lot of areas when they're building on pontons, and that's the next step. And there is already many houses built in this way. It's nothing new. It's about sewage and electricity delivery, nothing else.
Warranties. You said there's a lot of differences depending on the country. If you are building your modular house, which will be the hardest or easiest countries to enter in Europe comparing to Latvia?
In Latvia, it's quite easy. First 2 years, so one of the sample in Sweden, we are giving warranty for the house 15 years, but there is a rules like if you made mistake in frame, then it comes to life warranty. If there is one mistake, then the warranty is open. Of course, there is insurance, but one of the countries is Sweden. Second one could be France. It's around 12 years warranty. It's of course it's for the main works like structures, loads, but it's not about finishing materials like applications or paintings. It's about how strong and safety the house is. Yeah, but this is the rules in Latvia, and suddenly it's 2 years. It's nothing. Then the rules should be changed there.
Okay, so I will see with more sent in and written down questions. There are dimensions, yes. Maybe we can cover those a bit in Latvia abroad. What is the safest and where we are starting to risk a little bit for transportation?
So the regular track is 2.4, 3.3, 2.4 wide is the regular, is the standard. 3.3 height, 13.6 meter long is the standard track. Then we are talking about it's the cheapest way to deliver. Of course, architects are not happy with it. Then next one is the 3.4 wide width. You just change this one. The next step, you can add the width till 4 meters and height till 4 meters. This is maximum. And the length you shorter till 12. Something about that. The widest what we was produced is 5 meters. But this is quite challenging. You need to investigate the place where you deliver. Is there trees? Is there road signs? There was a project when we delivered to Holland where we paid just to take away signs and put them back 8,000 euros. And it's possible to deliver, but it's extra cost, and that's all you need to investigate, and someone should pay for it. If you as a producer forget it, it's in your cost, and that is not fun at all. And this is what you don't have to be amazed. You get an amazing project, and everyone asking huge money, and you are the cheapest one. Something is maybe wrong in your investigation of delivery or production. It's one of those. Yeah.
Very good. No, is weight an issue? Like a house be too heavy?
So no, I would like to say no, because 50 square meter house weight is 16 tons. And each track could take 24 tons is the road rules. And the construction is light. I don't believe you can put inside something so heavy.
Because these lorries are sometimes filled with Coca-Cola bottles, and that's a bit heavier than the house, I guess.
That's why the houses you can find, they're quite interesting. You can deliver high add value for any type, any place in the world. There is issue for the brick producers. It's quite heavy. For the cement, it's locally 100 kilometers. That's why you can building production is close to building sites. But with modular system, we delivering modules to Ireland. We are talking about Japan. We are talking about Australia. there is different climate. There is this not mosquitoes but termites, temperature, and it's other issues which you need to fight with, but not the delivery. Of course, limited measures and design, but nothing else.
Okay. Maybe there are some questions from people online, maybe in Zoom, if not on Zoom, maybe on Facebook, if not on Facebook, maybe here. So I will start going through all of them. We can maybe have one question from the audience.
I wanted to ask one question related to the design, like what inspires you of creating new designs? What is maybe from the client side, from traveling, from seeing, being in different houses? What is the main like catch that you want to create something new or inspire you?
If I would like to,
Yeah, what inspires you in general
I can't even look normally moving. Always in the details in a building, in the windows. I don't see what actors doing, but this I'm always seriously looking, and I always try to understand how it's produced, why it's produced, why they do it, and it's. No, here you can see in picture this house as well, done by a famous architect in Sweden, and I'm taking out on this experience collect. Today, everyone talks about huge windows, open space, less elements, and windows are built in. And, time is moving, and all the time something is changing. And time by time is returning, as we know in closed design, same. But yeah, we are in the limit with the measures. There is a limits in every way in each production. I can tell you even some limits on windows. So you can see people asking, what's the biggest window what you can produce? I can answer you, woods, there is no limit. There is a limit on splits or on a screen of the glass. What glass producer can produce for me. For me, it doesn't matter. I can think how to manage my robots to produce everything. But there is limits. There's 6 meters, 2.6, or there's special factories which produce a width 3.3 till 6 meters. But then is the next question, it's technology measures the glass thickness and its bending. It's how to not touch. Again, it's technical issues. Always you measure with technology.
They're currently building a new lamp for this office, and it's also 3 meters large. And they can't find the glass plane that wouldn't bulge. So either we drill a hole and add it's quite a large problem to solve. In that sense, if you make it too thick, it becomes very heavy. And
one more thing for delivering the glass, it's not just about place where you deliver, but which place you're gonna cross. Because pressure on air, if you cross a high mountain, the different pressures and your windows are exploded because of pressure, then you need to build special ventils. It's not enough.
Or leave the door open.
No, it's not health package. If you need to give a glass producer the place and the place which you're going to cross, it's not so easy.
All right, because the panels themselves, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Like you have to
if
build
you on a sea, there is no problem. It's a sea level. But if you cross some mountain, there is different pressures, and this you need to expect in this one.
Matis has a very good question, and then you actually also own a terrace, and Matis has a similar idea. Have you experience of placing modular houses on the roof of other buildings?
I haven't done, but there is a project at the moment ongoing. The customer, this is project in Ireland, in Kilkenny. I'm producing windows, and we was spoken 2 years how to put modules on the top of the hotel to save a building time. But in the end, the customer has shaken about the measures and corridors and how to drive in the city, how to walk a road, because it's main street, a lot of people, but there was idea. Still, we have open building sites in Ireland for this, because people like to save money on building site, on all the issues which coming and put up the modules in other building. And then today, actually, before this meeting, I have another meeting where we were spoken to lift up model in Riga. It's Nice question, and someone catching already future.
Let us know, because we have this person, we wanted to create like this story of Carlson who is living on a roof. It's an actual project. We are looking, talking with Latvia Equality for the trees that we can put there, and we'll see what the building wants.
One of the sample, the people has who lifted up, but not lifted, built up the saunas on the roofs. It's already could be a modular, but to full living it is possible. Of course, it's about calculation loads and spot loads. We replace them, and that's it.
Okay, excellent. At the beginning of presentation, you mentioned and I haven't forgotten that you have a question, from timber to building. Does it mean that you own your own forest, or you're sourcing the trees somewhere? As I understand, the timber itself matters a lot when you're building.
I'm not owning the forests. I'm buying logs, brown logs, then I'm cutting them. Some of which I'm buying from special factories, which we agree on humidity. But molding the last measure I'm doing myself. But why I'm buying the logs? Because in each calculation of loads or glue lumps we need, it's long time for others, and it's price effective as well. Could cost a lot to order special small amount. That's why I'm using my own sawmill and own people to produce special dimensions and quite nice dry wood. And before war, I even cooperated with Russia, and there was nothing about the war. There was just because the sub-Irish wood is slow growing wood, and I like them. Now I'm trying to buy the wood mostly from Sweden. It's cheaper and still nice one. It's nothing about that. Most about the politics of Latvia and other countries, where the price going and what's actually design. Like everyone knows, still nothing moves out from design like sub-Irish large. Now it's an empty market, but everyone likes this wood as the finishing of the facades.
Okay.
Yeah, I had one more question related to the village. Last slide we saw before. If there is like, have you ever considered combining like the eco-living with the community building? Like, let's say that, for example, how these houses that have like a retreat center or something that young people, is there like involvement with the youth and like these modular houses in this, like, let's say village or community creating? Like, have you ever had like this maybe from the youth side that they involved in some of the projects, or it's just for the client?
No, I saw that this village is just a business for millionaires to develop. Some of millionaires building just to leave the name, they build a village. Some are doing these villages to make a business and make a money. And
yeah, okay. And I had one more question for the vacancies. If there is possible for anyone of the interested people to join and to work or to help to create the facade or create the house from scratch.
yes, we are all the time open. That's why I'm always working with new people, and this is the part which is missing for Latvia. Engineers, architects, creative, new thinking, who open the new softwares and breaks the lines. And actually, if I can tell you honestly, I see still, I'm looking already in Denmark, in Sweden, Ireland, they're working still in old way with a pencil, someone with the AutoCADs in 2D, and they don't recognize the building in 3D dimension, and a lot of mistakes coming out. They build the showers in a roof floor where there is no space for the head.
Because they haven't checked in 3D. Right?
In 3D, and I'm getting those drawings at some of these famous targets or they use students not rechecking drawings. And those are mistakes gone if you use 3D model. And from my recommendation, my architects start to use the softwares, ArchiCAD or Revit, to be easy to work with, and they are amazed themselves how easy it comes. But young generation is more adapt to the new things, and that's what we like, and that's why I'm going to school, and I want to combine production, where is investment in machines, with the softwares, how to put them together and quickly to get results. And Rudis actually is one of the sample where we work bit together. And I'm really happy about Rudis and his projects. This is one of the samples and great.
Marker to reach. Matis is another great question. So is there also a practice to remove modules from site and substitute with other modules, for example, in these villages or other cases when the buildings warranty ends? Like have people substitute a module, they have existing place, it's in a project, etc. And they say, hey, this, like you exchange a furniture or something from IKEA.
So this have been spoken already, but yeah, used to people buying model for idea. It's for my practice. In my practice, it's I don't know any situation like that, but it could be. Because if you use screw pillars for foundation, then you like buy a house 50 square meters. When you are startup your life with a girlfriend, and then you married and get a kid, and then you need bigger. Why you need to build extension? You just resell your house, and then put another one bigger in the same place. And why not? It's a great idea. Just I think for modular buildings is too short period to have this experience, but it's nothing. It's nothing strange and nothing impossible. It's still possible.
You should make a SS or a Facebook Marketplace for used building.
But there is answer. Like I did actually my own demo village in my factory. Already there was a 50 square meter house which we resell. Now we in same place we will gonna put up 90 square meter. It's the same situation. We decide to put it bigger. We redo the foundation with screw pillars and then it's gone.
I know that with some lighting specialists you work and they have a lot of lamps in their office, and the client comes, they're like, we want that lamp, and they take it to ring and then they buy a new one. Client comes, I want this, and now they take and sell again. So having a showroom or a place, as we saw in your visit also, when the client sees a building, I think it matters a lot, and then they can get it, same day delivery like Amazon, probably not exactly, but yes. Well, we are kind of rounding up. This was the time frame we were aiming for, but of course, if there are some closing questions, we definitely can take them. And for those who are in person, we have non-formal after a party where we can ask questions in person too. But otherwise, the important dates to remember while you still have an option to ask questions is one tomorrow. Tomorrow we meet for practical prototyping, trying to build this acoustic small module. And we were joking what you can make with 20,000 euros. So that is, I guess, 4 square meters or 3 square meters. 2.5 maybe. It's a really small volume. You can't even go inside it, but you can probably lie down and take a nap. So it's an acoustic unit, and I will try to assemble it tomorrow. And for this weekend, so Friday at 2 o'clock, we all meet in Jelgava. So Inguss also will be there, so you can give him some questions in person, show your designs, and who knows, maybe you will be one who builds your houses in reality in spring of 2024. Thank you all for joining. Thanks to all the sponsors, organizers, and supporters, and see you all very soon tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.